She calls it Watson Syndrome.
That's right. And we're just gonna call it Watson's.
Watson's disease.
Yeah.
Hodge Watson's.
Musical Monday, Musical Monday.
There's no place like home.
When you've got the Stockholm Syndrome.
Musical Monday.
Hello and welcome back to Musical Monday with Zach and Shae at ImprovBroadway. I'm Zach.
I'm Shae.
And we're at ImprovBroadway. And joined with us is someone I'd like to chloroform, throw in my trunk, throw in my basement, give him sweet kisses every night until he loves it. Caleb on the keys.
Then do it.
Just do
Then
it. Dare
do
you.
it.
Dare you. Do it,
That's
Zach.
consent.
Put your chloroform where your mouth is and where Caleb's mouth is.
I'll put my words where my rag is. This is your first time tuning into Musical Monday. This is the show where Shae, Caleb, and myself review some of the greatest unknown musicals that really no one's ever heard about. In fact, we're cracking the nut on these musicals pretty much every week.
Trying to nut.
We're trying to make, yep. And let's say I'm a little obsessed with this musical. I guess you can say I've grown fond of it over time.
I guess you could say words about this musical.
I
guess you
guess
could
there's a
say
description about it.
This music captured me.
I guess you could say this musical held me against my will.
This musical, I would go to prison if it were found out.
This musical is a beast.
Of course, we're talking about Stockholm Syndrome, the musical. A musical all about that weirdly, interestingly named phenomenon where when you're kidnapped, you eventually fall in love with your captor. Why did they have to make it sound so sexy, you know? They should have made it sound unappealing.
There's so many books based on that.
Yeah,
It's-
too many.
Yeah, well, or for some, not enough.
Shae, you're a voracious reader. How do you like the books that have that? Like, can you suspend your disbelief when they're just like, this is Stockholm Syndrome? But you're like, but he's hot and rich, so I kind of get it.
I get it.
You're smart.
I'm smart.
You're brilliant.
I know it's fight or flight or Stockholm Syndrome, so.
Which one would you choose, fight or flight or Stockholm Syndrome?
Stockholm Syndrome.
If he's hot and rich, Stockholm Syndrome.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's
If he's
only
ugly
sad
and
when they're decrepit and ugly.
That's so true.
And
Then it's
like,
kidnapping.
Right.
Yeah, but if they're beautiful and you can marry them,
It's gray. Shades of gray.
Shades of gray. That's Stockholm Syndrome, you think?
50 Shades of Grey?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
Because I'm pretty sure it's like there's so many like Beauty and the Beast retellings, sexual retellings, and I'm pretty sure that's one of them.
Interesting.
But I don't know. I haven't read the book or watched the movie, and that's not a brag.
He traps her
So you
dad
don't know
in a
anything about it at
tower
all.
So, from what I understand, the plot of 50 Shades of Grey is an old man wanders into his castle and he's like, I'm going to whip you every day. And then the daughter says, no, whip me instead. And then they trade places.
Yeah, that's
Word
it.
for word.
And the whips are anthropomorphic and the chains are anthropomorphic. It writes itself. But what also wrote itself was this musical.
Completely different music.
Wrote this, it was Stockholm Syndrome, the musical.
That's right. This flips the script because instead of like a creepy old man kidnapping someone, it's a suburban mom.
Mm-hmm.
Her house loan is scraping by. She's bored. And so who does she kidnap but the local handsome English teacher?
Yeah, and he's also from England, so he's teaching he's teaching the Queen's English.
That's right. He's not teaching American English. He's only teaching the differences between American.
Yeah, he's not teaching grammar.
Like, you better spell color with a U, nasties.
He's not teaching syntax. He says, you call it a trunk, and I'll call it a boot. Class dismissed.
Yeah. The principal has no idea.
Yeah. And what's more attractive than that, honestly?
And of course, he doesn't talk
yeah.
about it in gross Cockney. He talks
No,
about in high
handsome.
Queen's
Yeah,
English.
regal.
Yeah, he's a fancy man.
Regal.
Yeah. Well, why don't you tell us what he sounds like? Why don't you do a little snippet?
And that'll
Caleb?
set the tone of what he actually sounds
I'll
like.
tell you in the way that I best know how.
Oh, here we go.
I could just hear the accent.
God save the queen.
God save the queen.
God save the queen.
So she kidnaps Professor Harrington.
That's right. And she kidnaps him in the sweetest way, offering Goldfish the works. So in this song...
She lays down a pile of live goldfish. And
Come
he,
to mommy.
being him having the golden heart, he puts them all in his fishbowl. And he's like, I'll take care of you, my sweets.
That's right. So in this song, it's her setting the dynamic of kidnapped, but testing the waters of kidnapped with benefits.
How kidnapped do you want to be?
That's right. It's a duet. Let's hear it.
Call it! It's a duet! You know what that means! It's a duet!
Okay.
It's like Pee-wee's Playhouse word of the day.
We'll find out the title when it happens.
Unprecedented!
When it happens.
47, 48, 49. Oh, Mrs. Chesterbury.
Hey, sup? Do you want another fruit roll up? I got 12 foot by the tongue. My, you're looking pretty and young. Oh no, sorry you can't leave my basement. But man, you look heaven sent. What is that smell? What's that sweet cologne? Oh man, this is better than being on my own. I love kidnapping, it's my new favorite hobby. I love it better than knitting or crocheting or learning how to make salami. You're my Stockholm Syndrome, but I want you to be my Stockholm Man. You're my Stockholm Syndrome, but I want you to be my Stockholm Man.
You look so very lonely. I think I could be your Stockholmie. So lock me up and throw away the key. Let's see what these next 3 months bring me. I teach English to those poor boys and those poor girls off in class. But I would rather be here with you behind doors, you my captor lass. So slide me some bread and some butter jam underneath the door crack. And I will wait every day when you're out for work, and I will jump for joy when you're back.
You've resolved conflict so fast. That's how I know this relationship will last. So you like being kept against your will.
Of course I'm English. My mother basically was my captor for 18 years. But now I've got a hot American Yankee woman who won't bring me to tears.
I won't take you out of the cellar. Gonna take away your senses like Helen Keller. Just please come here and give me a hug. I wanna be near you, you big lug. Teach me something, teach me what your body can do. Especially after all of this kidnapping I put you through.
Oh, you knock my socks off. We don't call them rain boots, we call them galosh. And I can also teach you other words from Britain. And here I'm sitting,
Be my Stockholm Man.
I'll be your Stockholm Man.
Stockholm Man.
I'll be your Stockholm
Be my Stockholm
Man. It's all according to plan. I'll be your Stockholm Man. When do we start?
Amazing.
Incredible.
He loved it so fast.
He was so accommodating. It was that classic British people pleaser.
Yeah, crazy. It's almost like, where do we go from here?
Oh, just you wait. I love the next part of the play because it's like this whole new conflict. You think it's going to be about like, oh no, I've been kidnapped. this is a villain, but no, it's like immediately in love.
Immediately
What
love
do you
it.
do when you find someone you're like, you want to go on dates, you want to go out on the town, you want to be public,
Yeah.
but he's been kidnapped. She's wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the cops are out looking for this guy.
Yeah, that's true. And she still won't let him out. Even though he said, like, hey, I'm into it now. She's like, well, let's be safe
it kinda-
rather than sorry.
And she's like, it kind of ruins it, because otherwise you're just my roommate. Like, if you're not my prisoner without some semblance of against your will, what's in it for me? Because she's a freak. You know.
Yeah.
Well, that's been established.
Yeah.
I think it's obvious. She's a freak.
Yeah.
And so they have to get creative with date ideas that don't involve the outside or anyone knowing where he is.
Mm-hmm.
They try a lot of things. They try inside croquet.
Yes.
Doesn't go well.
They keep failing and failing. And so what do? They bring in a consultant, a therapist even, to help them spice up their relationship. And this therapist is so chock full of ideas. She's bubbly, she's warm, she's sunny, and she is just laying down because she realizes you're focused on the activities, but you need to be focused on the emotion of the activities. And that's what's going to bring you closer together as prisoner and captor.
Yeah, and it's interesting because the therapist, you know, most therapists would be like, this is illegal, I'm allowed to turn you in, but the therapist didn't do it too.
She honored her patient confidentiality even before she signed the contract.
And even though I think it's in the patient confidentiality clause that you can't say if someone's a criminal.
Yeah, she cares about her patients so much that she says, I don't care. I want these two to be happy.
Yeah.
It's an interesting situation. I'm honestly fascinated by the whole thing.
Yes.
Can
Because
this
she
really
values
work?
love over the law.
That's right. She's like, thanks for pulling me in on this.
Yeah, and that's the name of the song, of course. Love over law.
Love over law.
Oh, yeah. All of my patients wanna love, laugh, live, but the secret to that is being held captive. You're trying to go on a date, go get burgers. Well, I promise you, look no further. You can make a sandwich out of anything, but do you know the recipe to love? 'Cause yeah, you might be victim to a kidnapping, but that can still be enough. Love over law. Love over law. What do you see? Think of what you saw that makes love over law. Look at what's at your disposal. You've got handcuffs galore. So think of something creative that you can use those for. If you can't leave because you are held in the basement, then think of 100 things that gets you really excited. Love over law. Love over law. Don't tell the police what you saw. Love over law. You could get the cops riled up, lead them to a false trail. Maybe that's the kind of clue you need to make sure your marriage won't fail. Love over law. Love over law. Love over law.
That song makes me want to get captured today.
Well, I know a Craigslist.
I know a Craigslist too, and it's
the
not the
same
one you're
one.
thinking. It's a dude named Craig
He's
outside,
got
and there's
a
one
list.
thing on his list.
List in his locker.
That's the reason we're not allowed to go by the dumpster anymore.
Yeah. It's not just the heroin needles, it's Craig.
What's crazy about this theater is that there used to be a car that was there for months and months and months. Do you remember this? Yeah, and there was like crazy stuff in there.
Ghost
and
car.
someone like opened the trunk. I don't know, maybe. Seems like that happened.
Seems like someone would do that.
Someone should have opened that trunk.
And it was there for months and no one ever moved it. And then one day it just disappeared. I'm saying this like a ghost story. It's probably just it got towed. I don't know.
We have no evidence for it, so we have to assume ghosts.
It seemed like ghosts.
It's the rational explanation.
Anyways, final song.
Final song.
Hazoo huzzah.
A duet?
Do it.
As
duet.
final songs often are.
So they have this therapy.
Yeah.
It is life-changing and helping the suburban wife, Molly, helping her realize that she's gonna let him go.
Yeah. And therapy also helped her husband come to terms with this relationship too. And helped him forgive, but not forget.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's right. And, and that's right. Yeah, I didn't say suburban ex-wife, did I?
No.
Nope.
He said, Darla, I'm patient. I'm patient. I understand. You gotta do you.
Once you know that he didn't know her name, Molly, you're like, it kind of makes sense why
He wasn't very
He wasn't very
present.
attentive.
Yeah.
I'm just now realizing that you kidnapped an English teacher and your name. We're both at fault, and we can both brush it under the rug.
I mean, really, what is anyone to do if, their significant other pays no attention to them whatsoever?
Yeah.
They need someone that can only pay attention to them 24/7.
That's
It's a natural
right.
conclusion.
And the therapist sees that and is able to identify that if it weren't for the Stockholm Syndrome, that it would not have repaired their marriage. And so she coins this, a new syndrome specific to their relationship.
Okay. Yeah,
She calls it Watson Syndrome.
that's right. And we're just going to call it Watson's.
Watson's disease.
Yeah.
Hodge Watson's.
I don't
Yeah,
get
that was the professor, Hodge Watson.
I think there's like John Hodgkin's disease.
Yeah, okay, so yes. And so this song is between the husband and wife.
The professor does still dip in occasionally.
One or twice at most.
Yeah. But yeah, he's got some things to say.
Mostly at the beginning, and then he's forgotten.
Yeah, well, that's kind of the point,
Yeah.
Right? Just
Right.
let's get rid of this guy.
Yeah.
He's a weirdo.
And this song, 3 is crowd, 2 is perfect.
Watson's.
Well, that can just be mentioned if we wanted to.
That's a mental colon. Mentally colon. Watson.
Well, it's in the title.
3's a crowd.
2's perfect.
Is insinuated by 3's a crowd. I love it when you take common sayings and add one more line to make it redundant.
Because
A penny saved is a penny earned because you don't spend it.
well, because imagine in this scenario, it's because if you have an affair and someone says like, well, 3 is a crowd, and it's like, but I don't want a divorce. I don't want it to be 1. So 2 is actually
So 2 is perfect.
The original number was the right number.
Yeah.
3's a crowd. 2 was the right number all along.
Yeah. So, well, let's listen to it.
Save it for a rainy day because when it rains, you can't get it.
Don't count your eggs before they hatch, because what if some of them died in the egg?
It's raining cats and dogs because there's a lot of rain. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a foot long from Subway because it's 12 inches.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm loving it. McDonald's is good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's Let's give it a listen.
Oh, no.
As much as I love you, Molly. Write that down. Seeing your new love for your husband makes me realize that my love was merely a stepping stone to return to the peak you had all along.
Be free, teacher. Be free.
Honey, I'm not gonna lie. That was pretty weird. I felt it deep inside my bones, all the way to the tips of my beard. Seeing you fall in love with that prisoner made me feel like a loser. But now I realize I wish I could have been your captive all along. Now I realize it shouldn't have been a trio, it should have been a duo song. Because three's company, but two's the perfect number. Should have been two all along. Should have been two all along. You shouldn't have brought a third person into our throng, 'cause it shouldn't two all along.
I led him to my house with a trail of graham crackers
And Goldfish.
But I should have known that really my brain was going crackers.
It's a British term.
A piece of him will always be with me, like water from the Thames. But luckily, the water over there is gross and polluted, it's insane. So let's build a fresh river where we can flow freely. Let's build a fresh river where we can flow freely. And maybe we can build something with honesty. Do you know my name? Do you know me?
I do, Molly. Not Deborah. See, I've already forgotten the other name I called you. That's how deep it's inside. And it'll never be gone from my mind again. It's in there like a steel trap. Hope that isn't too soon to joke about. Oh man, crap. But we can use that dungeon you built for him down there for us. And you can tie me up for some other stuff. Oh, I hope that isn't sus.
Come on, we've gotta go play. Let's make this a PG version of 50 Shades of Grey. Come on, before we see the end of the sunlight, let's make this a slightly raunchier version of Twilight. Because now that English guy is gone, think of him as Gaston. And you're my beast that's changed into a handsome French short man.
And we'll make out night and day. Every day will be like 50 Shades of Grey. You can make me feel things I've never felt before.
Three's a crowd, but two is perfect.
So perfect, oh, we should have been two along.
Three's a crowd,
But two is perfect. 1 + 1 is 2.
which is great,
2 + 1 is 3.
which is gross.
3 - 1 is 2, which is back to great.
Three's a crowd, two is perfect. Three's a crowd, two is perfect. Three's a crowd, two is perfect.
You want me to talk in a British accent too?
No, tie yourself up.
You got it, dear.
No funny business. You're just my prisoner.
We're gonna make it. Ah, incredible love, beautiful love. And, you know, sometimes being a prisoner isn't always a bad thing.
Just want to say we recommend anything that happened in that musical. We recommend anyone to do that.
Try it.
Absolutely.
Don't knock it till you try it.
Yeah,
Okay?
the professor went on to walking down dark, lonely streets with no shoes on, just hoping that he would get snatched up.
Yeah.
Yeah, he kept pulling out his wallet with hundos and being like, so much money.
He tied himself half up like, oh, if someone just tightens these ropes, I'll be...
Oh, my phone has absolutely no service in this dark alley.
Oh, yeah.
He's just tripping into white vans. Oh! Sherwin Williams again.
Oh, yeah.
Daggum.
He said, I'm a kid. Does anyone have candy? Into a megaphone.
That's the one when he realized he had gone too far.
Yeah, that's when he got some real professional help.
Yeah.
But something we can't help is how much we love you. And it feels a little bit like Stockholm Syndrome to us, because we are imprisoned by your love. But we're grateful for you, and we hope we never escape. Please don't let us escape. Love us so much you don't want us to escape. And feed us every week a poor meal of a view with a side of a like and a garnish of a comment. On this episode of Musical Monday. Oh, I've got... Wait, no. Oh, I'm tripping. Oh, my poor ankles. Oh.
Illegal. Arrested for that.